Hey folks, Crazy Climber 80 here again, and this time we're going to look at game number 5 in our 20 from 1988 series. This game had a much more popular NES port, but it was still everywhere in the arcades and convenience stores and movie theater lobbies where I first think I've seen this one. And this is called Ninja Gaiden, created by Tecmo, and this was also known as Shadow Warriors, and it was also known as Ninja Ryukenden. But I only saw this as Ninja Gaiden, and there's the control panel. And note that there is a trigger on top of the joystick, and you can play one player or two players simultaneously in this game. And that trigger lets you grab beams over your head, or street lights, or whatever that you can hang from. And that's very crucial in this game. And there's the NES cartridge. I have a video of the NES port, which is radically different from this one. Maybe check that out. It's in my 20 from the Nintendo Entertainment System series. But this is a beat 'em up, and you fire off this combo of attacks on your enemies when you wail on the button. And once you get your enemy with the first hit of a combo, they can't break away if you keep pressing the attack button, which is nice. Unfortunately, they can do the same thing to you. They nail you with the first part of their combo, you're stuck there taking punishment until they knock you over, which really bites. But just like the NES counterpart, this has an animated cutscene of you doing battle with an enemy, and you kind of lay awkwardly on the ground in the rain. But this was very, very popular at the time. Very difficult, though. Oh man, it's tough. Takes quite a while to get used to. There's a lot of cool intricacies of this game, though, and there's the hanging from a beam. You just have to stand under it, make sure you're positioned right, and then press the trigger on top of the joystick. And then you will hang from it, and you can deliver kicks at your enemies. And that is a much more preferable attack than doing the combo with on your enemies. You can also throw them. You can jump over their head and press the attack button, and you will throw them by the head and toss them forward. Very nice. And you can break certain objects, knocking your enemies into them, or by you being knocked into them. But those objects can release items that can help you. Some of them just give you 100 points bonus score, which is kind of lame. But there's also energy pills that restore your energy, and you only have 3 bars of life, which sucks. You can restore your time. Sometimes you can get an extra life. You can't get it from scoring points. And sometimes you will get a sword, which is also very useful. Yeah, use that opportunity whenever you can. Hang from a beam just by simply pressing the trigger button on the joystick when you're standing under the beam. And you can jump up to higher areas quite often by pressing up and jump. And there I have a sword. Now the sword is good for a certain amount of swings. It's not timed. Once you've exhausted that amount of swings, then you are back to the punch and kick combo. Your punch kick combo was like straight punch, side kick, and roundhouse kick, or something like that. Now, enemies love to surround you in this game, and if they do, you can actually be fast enough to execute your combo one move one way and one move the other way, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And the enemies on either side of you can't get away. Very nice. Now note that each type of enemy will have a different combo. And there I kind of used the combo attack left and right to get out of trouble. Now the enemies are quick to start their own combo. And you don't want to throw an enemy and then put yourself in a position of danger where the next enemy can attack you. But yeah, the enemies are quick to start their combo, and they can sneak it in if you're not careful, and then you're stuck taking punishment until they're done with their combo. And there's another sword opportunity. Use those sword opportunities, and use the opportunity to hang from beams to kick your opponents. Now on this part, you need to do a high jump, up and jump, to get on the beam in the first place, or to walk on the rail in the first place. But when you're on a rail, you can hold down that trigger button and push down and hang down from the rail, or you can just simply press the trigger button and you'll hang from a beam above you. Now this guy with a spear below, he cannot hit you with the spear. It looks like he can, but he can't. I mean, he can't from below you. But yeah, if you can save your sword and maybe instead attack enemies by hanging from a beam, maybe do that instead. Yeah, the enemies from the rails won't come down to you if you're on the ground. And now we're going to face our first boss, and it is 2 sumo wrestlers. Yeah, if you can even save your sword for the boss, so maybe try to do that, because that really does a good deal of damage. Oh, actually, it was just 1 sumo wrestler. Later on, there are 2 sumo wrestlers, and this guy can toss you. You can toss the sumo wrestler, but sometimes he's just too quick and he'll slap you. And he's almost dead. He's easy to get suckered into a combo. And then you see a little scene of the ninja being at the doctor's office, I guess. And now we are in New York here, obviously, trying to cross traffic. And what you need to do, and here's another move that I did not talk about yet, is you need to swing forward on these street lights. And to do that, you press forward and jump. And while you're in mid-air, hold down on that trigger on top of the joystick, and you'll grab the next street light while you're in mid-air. Yeah, you want to collect those vitamins that sometimes appear from the wreckage, from objects you were able to destroy by knocking enemies or throwing enemies into them. And you have to cross 2 sets of traffic here. If you mistime it, the traffic can hurt you and knock you backwards. Whoops, I screwed up. A little bit of graphic glitching. It looks like the traffic should have nailed me, and it didn't. But again, you press forward and jump, and in midair, hold down that trigger, that grab button, and you will grab onto the next street light. But you have to do that while you're in midair. That's something that you have to get used to. But yeah, use those beams, street lights, whatever, to hang from, and then press forward to kick your enemies, or backwards to kick the enemies coming from behind you. Very useful, and that takes... Ouch. And now we have motorcyclists, and you have to take them down in the head. Or you have to hit them in the head. And if your timing's right, you can hit them with a kick. You can also throw them as you try to jump over the motorcycle. But if your timing isn't right, then they can nail you. Ah, crap. I thought maybe I could get away from him. But yeah, you only get 2 lives, which sucks. You get the one that... Ah, God, that was quick. You get the one that you've got at the time, and then one in reserve. And there is a saw blade. This is kind of disturbing. Fortunately, not graphic. But if you fail to continue, then it will have cut the ninja, apparently. Now this letters or character selection screen, letter selection screen or number, is kind of messed up. Each letter that you select is the letter that you selected last time to begin with. Even though it says A, when you start pushing left or right, it'll be like the next letter after the one that you already selected. It's very confusing. But you can put in 6 letters instead of just 3. Winners don't use drugs. Very common saying in video games of the time, or arcade games of the time. Now here's me electing to continue. This is definitely one of Tecmo's all-time classic arcade games. And might have been their best arcade game not named Tecmo Bowl. I really liked Tecmo Bowl. I thought that was a great arcade game. I played on the NES a lot too. You can jump on top of the phone booths. Some objects you can jump onto and be able to get an advantage on your enemy. You can stand on like a table or something and attack them from there. I put on infinite energy cheat here. Don't do that because the enemy will be able to trap you in an endless combination. Put on invincibility. And we face this duo of bikers, and they can throw you to the other biker to have the other biker throw you. Do a little tag team attack. These guys are tough, but you need to be quick on the attack. Trying to throw them will often be a bad idea. They will often knock you down as you try to do that. And you see rampaging Indians in the outside of his train window. I love the stage design for this stage. We're in Vegas now, and there are various American locations in this game. Yeah, you want to jump up and then press the trigger button, and as you go by on this beam or rail here, you got to watch out for those rotating things, whatever they are, because they will hit you and knock you backwards. And there's those burly guys that swing those logs. They'll knock you over with one swing, and they've got terrific range. So really watch out for those guys. Make sure that you get close and deliver a quick combo. Now we have this guy hanging from a chopper, and when you see him dart towards you, you want to jump and attack. But yeah, knock enemies into those breakable objects, and you can get the sword, and again that gives you a limited amount of time, or a limited amount of sword swings. And you can get a gem that gives you a measly 100 points. I put on, I think at this point I put on infinite lives, not infinite energy or infinite, or invincibility. And you can get energy pills. The blue ones give you, I think, just one just one mark of energy back, and I think the orange ones refill it completely. And then there is a clock that restores your time. If you run out of time, you'll lose 1 life. If you have to continue, you will return right about where you left off. Pretty close. There might be some enemies that you had fought before that you will have to fight again. And now here's another boss, and this is actually 3 guys in 1. These guys, I hate them. They've got claws, they're like Wolverine. And oftentimes if you attack them, they will do a backflip and then do an attack on you real quick. So you'll want to get out of the way. This game is so freaking hard, and it was really frustrating for a lot of people, including me. But there are some certain appealing aspects about the game, and if you learn them, the game may be a lot easier. It's still a very tough game. But again, those enemies, those clawed enemies, like to do a backflip when you attack them, and then they will fly forward at you and do a spinning claw attack, and you will need to get out of the way like this, like what I'm doing right now. Get out of the way. There you go. Just keep doing it, and eventually they'll be too weak to do their backflip. And just like James Bond, he's playing the tables. There are 6 stages. There's a Plaza, there's a New York Traffic, there's Vegas, there's a canyon and a swamp, and there's a railroad, and then there's a temple. Eventually we will see multiple reappearances of earlier bosses. We're just going to scoot forward here and look at later parts of each stage. Yeah, here's me getting surrounded by guys, and it is, if you do get surrounded, you may be able to break up your combo, doing it left and then right and then left and then right repeatedly, and you can take out enemies that are on either side of you if you get surrounded. Very nice. Now here it is very critical that you remember how to do the forward flip and catch in midair. Otherwise, yep, you're going to lose life. You're going to fall in the swamp. And something you have to do while you're hanging from these tree limbs is kick these mutated snake monster thingies. Just keep attacking them until you get a little bit of a break in the action. And they just want to keep on coming. God damn. But do the flip forward, and while you're in midair, damn it, hold down the trigger button on top of the joystick, because that will grab the beams or tree limbs or whatever. Do that in mid-air as you're flipping forward. Ah, that big frickin' lumberjack or whatever the hell he is, swinging that log. Yeah, sometimes you can jump onto a crate or a table or whatever. Some enemies you can attack from the thing that you're standing on if you position yourself right. But yeah, remember, if you get surrounded, yeah, you can throw those sumo wrestlers. But oftentimes they'll slap you down while you're trying to do so. We'll just scoot forward to me beating them. And the ninja rides a canoe down the rapids. Some kind of funny screenshots of him approaching the next stage. And here's the railroad. Yeah, if you're gonna jump over an enemy and throw them, doing the head throw technique. Now there was another move. If you have the sword and you when you run into an object, you will automatically spring off of it and backflip, which may look cool, but it can be very annoying sometimes. But if you have the sword and you press the sword button or the attack button while you're in midair from that backflip, you will slam the sword onto the ground and make a pretty cool looking attack. Maybe not super practical, but it can work sometimes. But yeah, if you get surrounded, and there was an extra life, very rare. You cannot get an extra life from accruing points. You cannot jump on the railroad where the train is, it's in the way. There's a handy-dandy abyss coming up to the right where you could maybe knock enemies into. Oh yeah, the motorcyclist plunges into the abyss of his own volition. Here is where you can really get surrounded. There are a lot of enemies on this railroad track, but if you have the sword and you're in the right place, you can really cut them down. And notice how much stronger the sword is, obviously, than your combination attack. Yeah, the arcade game definitely got some notice from gamers, but the NES port was more popular. Yeah, save that sword if you can. I think I put on a cheat at some point that gave me infinite sword. The game is so much easier if you have the sword. It's so much stronger. Whoops, that was too close. He threw me for his buddy to have his way with me, but his buddy wasn't there. That was strange. Not done yet. A lot of the Japanese were fans of American pro wrestling, and I like that the ninjas like, good job, guys. And they're working on the side of a building. Yeah, a lot of Japanese were big fans of American pro wrestling, and the makers of Ninja Gaiden were too. And those were supposed to be like the Road Warriors from WWF back in the day. But yeah, sometimes standing on a crate or something, you can attack your enemies easier, especially if you have the sword. And there are, on this final stage here, there will be multiple bosses, and ones from earlier stages. This music sounds like Iron Man by Black Sabbath. I'm sure that was intentional. You can jump on top of that lamp. And again, if you run into a wall or an object, you will spring backwards in the air. And there I landed right back on top of the lamp. And that wall spring is very annoying, I think. Unless you have the sword, and again, in which case you might want to press sword while you're in midair and maybe nail any enemy that's close. Any opportunity that you have to grab a beam by simply pressing the button on top of the joystick, use it, because it's so much better than your combo attack. Oh, now we got those three clawed guys again. And this time, one swipe of their claw will kill you. That sucks. I wish I could attack them from this table, but I cannot. I don't know who that's supposed to be in that picture. Yep, one swipe and you are dead. Ugh, annoying. And again, they like to backflip when you attack them. That's your cue to get the hell out of the way, or they'll nail you. And note that my time has run out. Time over. You die. But you get to pick up where you left off. I'm going to scoot forward to me beating the last of these three guys. And yep, you just simply move on to the next part of the stage. And we will eventually face another boss. And this will be the last boss of the game. He's some cult leader or something, because he's got a pentagram on the carpet there. And he's a big, beefy guy with dual swords and fire breath, both of which will kill you instantly if they connect. Yeah, I can't get him from this position, unfortunately, and right away kills me there. Yep. But once you beat this guy, then the game will end. Yeah, if you could have the sword throughout the game would be so much easier. He's just sitting there waiting for me to get closer, and then he'll kill me automatically. But he is real quick with the sword swipe. But if you can time it just so you start your combination before he can get that swipe off, you'll be able to complete the combination and knock him down. And there, I killed him. And now we're going to see the end of Ninja Gaiden. Back to Tokyo. Not the trip to America that he was hoping for. But that was Ninja Gaiden, created by Tecmo, and the staff of Ninja Gaiden is also known as Strong Team. And the ninja is sitting on a throne. He is not given a name in this game, as far as I know, but for the NES port, he is known as Ryu Hayabusa, and he makes an appearance in the Dead or Alive series of versus fighting games, which features ridiculously busty women. But that is Ninja Gaiden, also known as Shadow Warriors or Ninja Ryu Kenden. But don't forget that you have a trigger on top of your joystick, and you will need that. That is the grab button, and that allows you to hang from beams or ledges or rails or whatever. And you will definitely need to make use of that in this game. Failure to use it will result in death. And remember that you need to jump across to other beams or whatnot sometimes, and you will need to press that trigger button in mid-air to catch the one in front of you. Otherwise, it will likely result in your death. But that is Ninja Gaiden, created by Tecmo in 1988, and that was game number 5 in our 20 from 1988 series. Very frustrating and hard game, but once you get used to certain things about it, it's much easier to take. And I screwed up this time in putting my initials in. So I have Rasa. I think I put it in as Russell. Russell can do it all. Russell. But that was Ninja Gaiden, created by Tecmo in 1988. This is Crazy Climber Ace, and thanks for watching. And I hope you join me soon for game number 4. We're almost done with the series. Y'all stay cool, everybody. It's getting hot. Bye-bye, folks.